Hey awesome friends, I am Awesome Danny and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to tell you about the Kiwi Ears Quintet. This is a really good set, really good, but not perfect. So let me tell you about it. So first, starting off, this set is 220 bucks, which is, in my opinion, a good amount of money. That's not something you can just easily burn hoping you get something good. But this set is actually very unique. There's not much out there like it, especially at this price range. Each IEM has 5 drivers, 4 different type of drivers in each side. So this is a quad brid. We have 1 dynamic driver, 2 balanced armatures, 1 planar, and 1 piezo, which is, again, pretty cool that they put all that in here for 220 bucks. They had to cut costs somewhere, right? Well, there is some points where it does feel that way. So let's start off with unboxing and accessories. Overall, in quantity, it's basically the same as their cheaper options. So Kiwi Ears has a lot of other sets that come in the same box, feels like the same packaging, has the same case. This guy has a nicer cable than the other stuff like the Quartet, but same ear tips, 2 sets of ear tips, 3 sizes in each set, silicone, small, medium, and large. And the shells are, in my opinion, very uninspired, which is not what I expect from Kiwi Ears. All their other stuff is gorgeous and really stands out. And each set is very different from the rest. This set is definitely different, but it's just so plain. Just a nitpick. I didn't like that. But I would understand some people might enjoy the minimalistic look that this brings. Though also the material used to make the shells is very lightweight and feels like it's low density, but it doesn't have a very premium feel. So overall the shells feel and look like they're not over 200 bucks, which was a big pain point for me. Like, it's over $200 and you get a really lightweight, low density shell that feels like it might be cheaper than it is. I understand if they were trying to go for lightweight, and the craftsmanship is good. Like, it's put together well and it looks good. There's no mess, no glue residue, no imperfections. Like, they're put together well and they look good. It's just doesn't feel good. But again, case same as the other Kiwi Ears. The cable is better on this, ear tips the same, and that's it. That's all you get. 220 bucks. I would have preferred a little bit more. So again, like I mentioned before, the shells are very light and they're also very comfortable. They're very ergonomic. The nozzles feel a little bit longer than usual though, compared to the average set. So I had to downsize on tips. Instead of usual medium, I had to use like small. That way I had a deeper, more secure fit, and the IMs themselves weren't sticking too far out of my ears. So getting into the sound signature, just before we continue into the sound impressions, I did use them for gaming and they're actually really good in gaming. Just in general, I'm not going to get into a full detailed review of them in gaming, but they are good, both in immersive gaming and PvP or competitive gaming. They do a good job. I would consider them above average compared to, you know, all the sets that I've tried. So this is going to be a very good contender as your daily driving IEM because it does music very well and it also does gaming very well. So versatile set. All right, so now getting into the sound impressions and music. So overall, the sound signature of the Quintet is, in my opinion, very sterile. It is clean. It is analytical. Not in a bad way. I actually really like the set. Like I mentioned before, this is one of my favorite sets at $200. But the sound signature, again, is very clean. It is very concise in the way it presents the sound, and it's very quick, almost unnatural in the decay, in the timbre. So it is not for people that value tonality over everything else. And this characteristic remains consistent all throughout the frequency response, which in my opinion is good, because I hate when sometimes it feels like sets are almost cobbled together of different sound profiles. Like you get a bass that doesn't fit with the mids on a set or with the treble, just doesn't mesh well and isn't as cohesive as I would like, but this is cohesive all the way through. So starting with the bass. Bass is good. There's a good amount of quantity here and the quality is decent. It has, you know, good texture. It's just low viscosity. So while there is a good amount of bass, it feels like it's really easy to cut through, which gives it that clean presentation. It's very quick. There's good rumble. It's not heavy though. It's very light, not as in weight, but more of the presence. The presence is lighter. And we have a similar story when you go into the mid-range. Male vocals are kind of neutral, almost flat, but not completely. They just aren't lush and heavy. They are still full and sound correct, just more on the neutral side. And then we push through the mids, which remain pretty linear until you get into the upper mids. And then there is a gain there, which adds, you know, a little bit of forwardness to female vocals and a little bit of bite to some instruments like electric guitars. Mids are well separated. There's a good amount of details here. It is not cramped. There's not much congestion here. But then when you push into the treble, there's a little bit of mid treble here. And it adds, you know, that little bit of intensity, the trailing sharpness to like female vocals or, you know, electric guitars. So treble here is pretty good. There's a couple of peaks here where it makes it sound a little metallic. There's a metallic sheen. And again, like I mentioned before, timbre is a little bit more on the artificial side, less natural sounding. Not by a lot, but it is towards that end of the spectrum. So a quick comparison, which this was actually really easy. This is basically a cleaner, more analytical, less musical version of the Chopin to me. Chopin has a little bit of a smaller, more intimate stage presentation, and the bass has more of that viscosity that I like. It's not too overwhelming or overpowering. It doesn't cloud anything because of the tuck, but it's still there and it has a good weight to it. So the bass rumbles well and it's very nice, not as clean or thin feeling as the Quintet, but again, Quintet is overall cleaner and the techs on the Quintet come off as more precise, leaning into that more analytical sound that it has over the Chopin. And that remains consistent throughout the mids. Chopin's treble is a little bit more rounded. I wouldn't call it dull, but it is duller than the Quintet. Quintet has more treble spiciness and pushes more perceived detail that way, while the Chopin is more refined and more subtle in the approach, so makes it for easier listening. So Quintet, this is an easy rec rating 3. It is $220. Accessories are a little lacking, not in quality but in quantity, except for the case. I feel like this set deserves a little bit better because it's just the same case I usually get with other Kiwi Ears. And I don't know about you guys, but I actually use the cases mostly because I just have so many sets and I need to keep them on the cases. And then when I take them out with me, just grab the case, throw it into my bag. I'm a big fan of when the case can hold everything that comes in the box, or at least everything that you would want to take with you. So like the cable, the IMs, ear tips, and the extra ear tips, which this case does fine. The shells, again, they're okay. I do appreciate how they're different. Unlike the other Kiwi Ears where it has the same logo twice, I don't like that. It just looks weird to me. I prefer them being asymmetrical this way instead of symmetrical. But that's it. Again, rec rating 3. Great set. Very clean. K-pops very well, at least to my preference. And the techs are really engaging. It's actually very surprising and impressive at the price on the sound alone. And that's it, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. And until next time, you stay awesome, friends. Bye.